don't want to run into copyright issues.
And I guess that's how we begin the episode.
I don't want to
Are
run
we
into
doing that?
copyright
Well, I
issues.
mean, like you know how this show works. We have a bit of a cold open. I mean, I know it's been a few months.
This is the
That has a
this is the
few
coldest
months.
opening.
It's been like a year.
What's the name of our show?
I
This is a good
genuinely
chance to
don't
just,
remember
bail
anymore.
on everything and restart from scratch.
Just
Hey, guys,
we have a
Don't call it a comeback. This is a reboot.
we have a new show called I don't know, what do we call it?
Anger to disagree.
No, we call it the Ben Show.
Well, the whole premise is me not watching shit.
Well,
you guys
now
make me
it's
watch
become
shit.
that, yeah.
Okay, so this episode is going to be another Ben Sees. So spoiler, this is a Ben Sees.
So, for reference, the original plan was to watch Rush Hour.
Yeah.
But due to the fact that Rush Hour is apparently not available on any actual streaming services for easy access, we ended up deciding to watch Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark instead.
Now, I'm going to have to disagree with you right here because
God damn it, we just started.
the movie is called Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, fuck you. Like, whatever.
Actually,
Don't make me throw my very nice heavy coasters at your head.
I wouldn't want you to damage your coast.
By the way, should we start this with an actual what we've been playing for a little while?
No, we haven't even started yet. This is the preamble before
This
the
is-
show begins.
Yeah, John has to edit this into context somehow.
Oh, yeah.
A spoiler alerts for people. Today is the 23rd? 24th.
24th, because tomorrow's
Today is the 24th of March.
correct.
2019, and Ben literally just got back from GDC less than 24 hours ago.
I'm fucking tired.
Yeah, man.
Actually, it has been just about 24 hours.
Oh, there you
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
You sound
High five.
exhausted.
Hey,
And,
Future John will actually hate that as well.
no, but that was a solid high five. Fuck you, Future
I got
John.
real good practice at that shit.
Fair enough.
And we just got done watching
Raiders.
Raiders of the Lost
Yeah.
Ark.
Correct.
And Ben is surprisingly still very lucid. So
So we gotta get as much content out of him as we can.
This
before
is
sending him
very
back
true.
to
If you don't
bed.
ask me what the plot was in the next 15 minutes, it's gonna go out the fucking ear.
all right, so I guess we should start the episode. Ready? 3,
Two,
2,
one.
1.
What happens next? I'm Ben! I usually go last, though.
Hi, I'm John,
I'm Andrew.
Ben!
and this is Agree to Disagree.
Where we agree to disagree. It's
Like,
been 3 months.
Why can't we just call this show Ben Sees at this
No,
point? Because
no, that this is a series within the show called Ben Sees.
It should be called
And actually-
we convict war crimes involving movies upon Ben.
Both
we conduct crimes involving movies upon Ben.
Both accurate. John has run away.
He needs his notes.
He's getting his very important notes for
No,
the
but-
movie we saw 5 minutes
No,
ago.
but I feel like that would be a relevant thing. Andrew and John commit some form of crimes involving movies upon Ben.
Welcome to a very special episode called Jonesing for Indiana, a Ben Sees trilogy.
Calm down, NPR.
Or as I like to call it, Ben's face melts off.
Yeah. Spoiler alert for people who have never seen Raiders of the Lost Ark. What are you doing?
What are you doing here?
What are you doing? But really,
I imagine the
This was rude up until an hour and a half ago when I hadn't seen Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I imagine it as it's like Rocky and Bullwinkle things. Jonesing for Indiana, a Ben Sees trilogy, or Ben gets his face melted off.
and now we have the full title for the episode. Thank
Yes,
you.
there
I don't understand
Thank
the
you, Andrew.
You're welcome.
reference. There's a character limit. Go on.
No, I mean, you know me. I'm not one to shy away from subtitles, especially in the names of my shows.
I just need you to nail SEO and we're good.
We are really
no,
bad at that.
that is a thing that
We're watching a movie from 40 years ago, Ben. We're not very. We kind of did. We're terrible at that.
Hey guys, have you ever heard about this actor?
This is a brand new movie
His
called
name
Indiana
is
Jones.
Harrison Ford, and I think he's going to be a real big deal.
God, this is have you heard of Fortnite of gaming?
Yeah, seriously.
Oh
Speaking
god,
of
that's
which,
already 20 late.
Speaking of which, Apex is real good.
I heard it's real good. I
real
can't
good.
wait to fucking play it at some
When you
point.
have some time.
When I can
Hey.
actually sit down.
Guys,
What?
The other day I played this game. It's called Tetris. Have you ever heard of it?
Yo.
I'm actually very good at Tetris Battle Royale.
That
but,
game
Steven-
still slaps, and
Steven-
I've been playing it for a month and a half.
Steven brought it over for like one day, and my first round was getting 11th place, and I'm like,
I've
my-
capped
I can
out
learn.
at third. I've
Oh my
capped out
god!
Very good.
So, as a person who plays Tetris a lot, I'm really embarrassed to say that I've peaked at 19.
Boo! You didn't even hear the intense anxiety-inducing music yet.
Oh yeah, that stuff's real
Wait,
bad.
let's give a moment for the sound I'm going to play. Yeah, I know. For those of you who are present in the real time,
Yeah,
that was the sound effect from The Price is Right.
Oh,
when you
bum,
fuck
bum,
up.
Oh, that's what that was.
That's a real good sound.
Yeah, that's going to be in there.
Fair enough.
Is that not a copyright thing?
No, it's actually not.
Really?
I don't think it is.
So the movie we watched was directed by I'm sorry, not Brett Ratner. Sorry, those are notes that I started taking when
Brett
we were...
Ratner's Indiana Jones.
No,
Holy
no,
shit.
this is good. I love a more free-form podcast where there is supposed to be an intent, and then we just fuck off and do whatever.
I'm pretty sure that's how the McElroy brothers keep making money.
Oh, absolutely. By the way,
They're also
donate.
way funnier than us, though.
By the way, donate to the Max Fund Drive. MaximumFun.don't.
don't
slash
send them to other donations.
Edit that out.
We don't have an
John.
audience. Send them to us for. We're recording in my
literally
apartment
just
on a
advertise
table
another-
with a tripod.
Another rival
Give us money.
podcast in our podcast.
How are they supposed to give us money? I have not finished setting up the Patreon.
I make the Patreon faster than asshole.
It's literally sitting waiting to be activated as it has remained for like the past year and a half.
No, to be,
I'm
to
gonna
be
throw a
fair,
damn beer can at you. Get
we
that
should,
done.
we should probably spend the next 2 months actually putting out quality
Recording.
content before
Yeah.
we can
Yeah,
demand
no,
money
I-
for it.
that makes sense.
Or one of us has a life-threatening disease and we need to raise money.
No. We gotta
Therein lies
We
my-
gotta go the Star Citizen method of just constantly promising better and better products and
This
people
po-
believing that we're gonna make
Got it. This podcast is always in beta.
Yes.
Welcome to gggames.org, the Star Citizen of podcasts.
We
Good brother.
agree to disagree beta edition. You'll get the full version when we get.
Dude, we are alpha at best.
You'll get the full version with video recordings and like behind the scenes when we get $100 million and not before that.
Not alpha as personalities, because I'm pretty much a beta cuck when it comes to it.
So we open up in South America, 1936.
Oh, we're just okay. Sure. We're
I
gonna,
think we're canceling the soy boy joke.
don't give me a rebuttal to my own joke. That's fine.
A mysterious figure is leading, apparently, his guides through the jungle.
The jungle, what I assume was, we talked about this, we're pretty sure it's either the Amazon in Brazil or Peru of some variety.
I believe it's Peru because one of them, there is a person who is amongst them who is literally wearing like that sort of knit cap that makes you think of Peruvian flute bands.
Oh yeah, the like a pan flute thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
And that gentleman is scared off by some bats flying out of the mouth of a statue.
Which, to be fair, moderately terrifying, but you're also in the goddamn rainforest and you knew what you were signing up for, you fucking
Yeah.
idiot.
Great.
Come on.
Yeah, the man is apparently afraid of fruit bats because little do you know, he has he is allergic to fruit.
So
And
he's scared of the things that consume it.
yes, he's afraid that the fruit bats might have some fruit on his teeth that may get on his skin.
Look, I don't eat fruits either. I get it.
By the way, can we do this as a proper Ben C's variation and see what he got out of it?
Yeah,
All right.
actually, like
Ben, give me the plot.
Oh no, wait. Now we're changing. Okay, got it.
Ben, give me the plot.
Great. So here's,
we're going back to classic Ben C's narrative.
sure, but here's a TLDR because actually this movie spells that out really nicely.
Oh yeah.
You're basically there's an archaeologist named Indiana. I don't know. I still don't know if it's a nickname or not. I haven't quite.
No, it's his real name.
Oh, we need. Don't name your kid Florida or Georgia or Indiana.
No, Alabama's the
His
one you
his
wanna name.
actual God-given first name is Mississippi.
Oh. We'll talk
I
about
love how that just shut down the show for 3 seconds. Like, it was so bad that all of us are just like, no.
Every episode is the last episode of this podcast.
Once again,
Welcome to the last episode
once again,
of
the-
Agree
the-
to Disagree.
the Star-
Because at some point we're not wrong, and that's kind of the
well,
best
it's
thing about
it's
it.
the Star Citizen Alex Jones method of where we run a tight ship around here. Don't mind my Rolex.
Anyway, so there's so we do the opening scene, which just basically establishes India as this big old archaeologist, badass type,
Yes.
which are not real in real life
No.
at all, not even the slightest. And at some point, he is tasked, or somebody is tasked with finding the
The
lost.
American government.
The American government is tasked with trying to find a lost Ark because they're in war. And the Lost Ark
Well,
is this-
1936. We're not in war yet, but they're worried about Hitler's movements to find weird occult.
They're worried
Yeah.
about the Nazis.
Yeah,
Yes.
the Nazis. The nasties, but
the
mispronounced.
Nas-
and we
the
just kinda-
Nazis.
They're
Boys,
worried about
the-
the blue meanies.
the WCW tag team, the
white-
Nasty Boys.
To be fair, the white meanies, and second of all.
We're gonna get taken to Pity City and shoved in there. And
Ah,
that's gonna be the American.
the white skinned, blue eyed meanies. It all circles around. We
Oh,
got
this makes total sense. Yeah,
Fantastic.
The blue meanie. Yeah.
If I may interrupt for a second.
Oh, please! I was.
But
killing
look,
it.
we had no idea where that was going.
Have either of you ever seen Yellow Submarine?
No, I haven't actually.
I know the song.
It's supposed to be a
All right,
surreal
so we
deal
have
for me.
Ben and Andrew spot a submarine.
So
that's in the
it's,
future.
that's-
You realize that
that's
in
all.
2 weeks from our recording date, you're watching
2 weeks.
You're watching John watches fucking 18 hours of WrestleMania.
Yes.
As
Oh
a
my
punishment
god,
for
we're
this.
doing that to him, aren't we?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, the card is so long. The
Wait, are you
card
talking
is
about the WrestleMania that just happened?
No, the next one.
No, the one that's
It's
coming up in
2
2 weeks.
Yeah, man.
Oh.
It's
The one that
Oh wait,
happens
well, I'm
in-
thinking it was the Royal Rumble.
John. It's
wasn't it?
9 hours.
Oh no, this is way
John, it's
longer
gonna be
than that. Son
John.
of
It's
a
gonna
bitch.
be 9 hours of wrestling. The match card doesn't stop. The match card is eternal.
Someone tell them what's going on right now.
We'll have you watch NXT Takeover New York though, because that'll be 2 hours of very high quality wrestling. That'll only be 2 hours, and then we'll inject you with WrestleMania.
So the arc of the Covenant is they're chasing it because it'll give them either immortal powers or some untouchable good powers of some variation.
We can smite you with this damn thing.
That seems to be
It's
the
wholly
implication.
there for
It's a
power?
It's a
Yeah.
Neolithic super weapon. Basically.
That's fair. Actually, he wrote the word Neolithic on the board. I remember
why I did
that
that.
because his dipshit couldn't spell it.
Yeah.
Neolithic super weapon is also a great name for a band.
That would
Correct.
be pretty phenomenal. It's like some Stone Age metal epic. Anyway, so they're trying to find the Ark of the Covenant.
I'm gonna download a Bell app while we're talking.
So every time we come up with a band name,
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
absolutely.
actually, that
Anyway, so-
needs to be a thing from now
So
on.
we're trying to find the Ark of the Covenant, and the very TLDR of this whole movie is that it gets found, and they shouldn't have found it because things go very south very quickly.
yes.
Basically, this whole movie, actually, I was thinking about this, is Indiana failing upwards a bunch.
Got it. Yeah.
Like, he does a thing and gets caught at the very end. And does a thing, he keeps getting outsmarted until the last minute where he doesn't even outsmart the enemies. He has to outsmart themselves.
No,
You played yourselves.
God just kind of kills them.
I would
Right.
make the argument. It's not because Indiana is an idiot. Like, it's because of
he's
circumstance.
Well, it's because
every
he's a
single time.
stubborn dumbass who doesn't realize when he's going to lose in a single man fight against the Nazis.
I mean, Indiana shoots first, so
What I'm saying is that for an that's actually one of my favorite things about Indiana Jones as a character is he is a stubborn bastard who genuinely believes that he can do it himself, only to consistently realize that, oh wait, no, I can't. This was dumb. I'm in so much worse trouble now.
I honestly, I'm sure there are people who exist that saw Indiana Jones is like, I'm going to become an archaeologist, and I want to see the dismay and disappointment on their lives.
So
where it's
I've met those people.
yeah, how's that go?
A surprising amount of them are actually very okay with it.
Interesting.
Well, because they're like, I didn't get the high octane that I wanted, but you know what? I got actually a very... Because also, this was something I learned about
I didn't get the high octane,
from a book I read recently, is that Archaeologist is one of those works that is completely future-proof because we will never be able to program robots to do all of the 9,000 tasks that they're required to learn by hand.
So the top two movies that genuinely led people to be archaeologists of some sort.
This and National Treasure?
No.
Really?
This and Jurassic Park.
That's not...
Well, that's paleontology.
Yeah,
But they're both directed by Steven Spielberg. So...
Is Spielberg's entire job pulling people into career fields that don't actually have prospects anymore?
Yes. That is what he does. And for the record,
alien
he
researchers from E.T. and Close Counters.
Yeah. Ready
Archaeologist
Player
from
One,
this.
where he encourages people to become game developers.
Was he in charge of Ready Player One? He
directed that.
Is
He
he who
did.
I have to blame about the new Ready Player One movie?
He directed that movie.
Okay, so I have Steven Spielberg to blame for that. I've heard the movie's not very good.
I met Ernest Klein, actually. He was at an event
He
in
he
WSU.
seems like a fine guy who accidentally got roped into some nonsense.
He's a good dude who fucking loves VR a lot.
That's fair.
Okay, so
Also,
in your short, go ahead.
I'm going to pause because I downloaded an air horn app. It's not a bell.
For every time we come up with a band name?
Yeah.
That's great.
I couldn't find a bell, so I figured
Neolithic
we become
super-
that podcast.
We become a zoo crew. We become a morning zoo radio show. I love it.
I'm done.
Fair enough.
We're at 1. Neolithic superweapon was the band name.
You had a point that was super serious and was supposed to get us along. And
But
then
so that's a good summary of the plot, actually.
Yeah, you made a very good succinct summary of the plot, which is something that you can't expect usually from a movie.
To be
podcast.
fair, other movies have fucked
Ben,
us up
to be
badly.
fair. I mean,
No,
right at that time we attempted to have Ben explain Star Wars and just kind of like slowly
I
derail.
enjoy his rambling tirades. Are you kidding me? That's one of the
no,
things.
but what I
that's
mean-
how Ben and I became friends. That's
What
how
I mean-
you and I became
That
friends.
is very
This
true.
is true.
But what I mean is, by comparison, movie-wise, it seems pretty much like, no, you got exactly what was going on. You're like, nope, I understood this movie's plot pretty thoroughly.
Okay, so
Which is
To
different.
be fair,
from-
the movie we were going to watch had the same shit, and then somebody had a corrupted super legal stream.
we got
yeah,
30
I had a
minutes in.
super legal file of Rush Hour on my thumb drive.
He paid
that we're
for it and
watching.
everything, everybody.
Yeah, no, I
Totally
paid for
legal.
it with actual real money. About what, 25 minutes into the film?
Not even.
Yeah, the
Like
final
15
gag.
minutes in the film?
15.
Which is the reason we're not talking about Rush Hour.
Yeah,
unfortunately. Rush Hour is a
it-
good movie.
I'll
Yeah.
still talk about it.
We'll come
find
back
a way
to the
get it
second.
in here.
We're
We'll
gonna
do it
come-
next week.
We're
We'll
going
do
to
it
come
next
back to the second half of it, but
We can go back to recording on Sundays like real people.
Yeah,
Who have a podcast that is actually on time.
Oh, syndicate's the wrong word. Regular. There's a word for this.
yeah, regular, like a person who
It's a
has
lot of bran.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going for that, but I didn't want to make a
Exactly. That's exact that.
One, 4 months has absolutely ruined John's brain.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about the scene in which Marion is introduced.
Okay.
I like that scene.
Marion is sitting down at a table having a drink off, shot for shot with what is an androgynous person.
No, it's just a very large man
very-
whose face is round enough to
Large.
potentially be either
It's
gender.
large man, bad haircut.
Yeah.
Is really what sells it.
And like they're going shot for shot, and you think that Marianne's not going to finish it, but she does, and the other person teeters and totters and falls flat on their face. And guess what? Marianne wins a bunch of money. She runs a bar apparently as well.
I assume it was the Tab's payment was complicit on losing this fight.
Okay,
So that was in my headcanon, the establishment of that drinking contest with that guy angrily being like, no, like I'm one of your regular customers. I'm not paying your tab. And she's like, you still owe me money. And he's like, well, I'll drink you for it. And she's like, all right, fuck it. And then kicks his ass. at
Really,
that.
she's an irresponsible bartender.
That's
So-
fair. Also, if for
Okay.
like a bunch of explorers in Nepal though, so
Sure.
Yeah, so this takes place in Nepal, and I'm curious, do you guys believe Marion is the owner of this bar?
that's the implication.
Because she
yeah.
plays it
Yeah.
off like she's stranded there. And
I
it's
mean-
like, she is a small business owner.
Yeah, one can be stranded in their business. I can
No,
understand
absolutely. You can be stranded in a town that you make a living in. That's totally fine. And by a town, I mean a village in Nepal.
that. I'm pretty sure
Like,
that's why all three
if-
of us continue living on this side of the state.
No,
Like-
but if she has money to own a bar and, like, have it so casual where you have people that just kind of hang around and she's winning bets with people, I feel like she has enough money to fly back home if she wanted to.
my assumption was that Abner, her father, owned the place, and the currency in Nepal at the time was probably. No one ever colonized Nepal, I don't think. So I would assume Nepalese money is probably less useful outside of there.
So, yeah.
Meaning getting back to the States is probably very hard.
So I'm gonna call them Nepal bucks because that's a good name in my head. I assume they're worth shit all to good old American capitalism bucks.
Especially in 1936.
Right.
So what you're telling me also, Andrew, is that Abner liked to drink.
Oh, probably. I mean, I assume.
Abner liked to drink. Abner, a character that is mentioned a lot in this movie, but is dead. And the father of Marion.
Is it okay? Is it Marion or Mary Ann?
It's Marion.
It's Marion.
Marion.
Like Marion Barry.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not
Got
a
it.
hyphenated name.
Like Mary Berry, Great British Bake Off. That's the next thing we're watching. Called it.
Damn it, you're the second person to tell me that this week.
Actually, no,
my
no,
D-
we are not.
One of my DMs.
Damn it! No.
Veto.
One of my
You can't-
one of my DMs is obsessed with the Great British Bake Off, and it's like, you need to watch that show. And I'm like, sure, why not? I don't have the time, but sure.
Fair. The spin-off series is Andrew and Ben watch Great British Bake Off.
No, we were gonna watch that Formula One show.
If you
Oh,
guys,
yeah.
if
we
you,
can do both.
If the two of you record that on your own, fair enough.
Then I have the title Racing for Cake.
Wait, don't we have enough racist cakes?
No, no, those are sexist cakes. Those are
First of all-
anti. Racing for Cake, is that what? That's a solid band name, to be fair. I would listen to Racing for Cake.
I don't want to keep my phone open, but I have to do it.
You gotta,
Oh
have,
my
you gotta
God.
have the air horn on at all times. Yeah, no, we gotta.
You
In
thought-
case we come up with band names.
Okay, so one of the things that I want to point out, this is an interesting thing that I want to tell both of you and people who are listening. You're just kind of like audience to this.
They are audience.
They are
to our
audiences,
thoughts,
yes.
There is a moment where Marion, right before Indiana Jones shows up, she's got her hands on her temples of her head.
Right.
And she throws down one hand and there's a glass shatter like she broke a shot.
Yeah.
So there was a scene that it was cut out of the movie where she actually grabs some snow from outside and puts it against the temples of her head to deal with how hungover or drunk or whatever she is. And so she's actually technically throwing a snowball on ground. Snowball on the ground, and the Foley artist threw a glass shattering sound into it.
So they had to
Really?
reshoot the scene to fit around that?
No,
They
no.
just re-sounded it.
Yeah, they just added a sound for her to throw glass on the ground for some reason.
Fair enough.
That's fascinating.
No,
actually.
I assumed when she was holding her head that it's like, yeah, you're a very drunk lady and are attempting to like pull your head back to a normal space.
I mean, to be fair, that's what she's doing.
Yeah,
It's just originally it was snow, but there was no scene of her grabbing snow.
She drank like 12 shots rapid fire.
so
Like
they had to throw some context into it.
To be fair, all the trumpets in the background would give anyone a hangover, even if you're sober.
Yeah, the
Are you
sound.
talking about John Williams?
I'm talking
or
about John
the-
Williams' very beautiful score where
the
he
third
loves his
star of the
fucking
film?
brass.
Yeah,
Like,
man. He is a lover of the brass
that dude
instruments.
pumps copper like nobody's business. Like, it's so good.
Pumping copper.
That's code for fucking the bell of a tuba.
Sorry.
This is why we need a physical bell because it takes way too long for Ben to
Unlock his
his
phone and
phone.
then hit the.
It's only my fingerprint, but it doesn't recognize it the first time.
No, so like what's Ben? What was your favorite part of this movie?
Just overall?
Yeah,
Well, did you enjoy this movie first and
yeah.
foremost?
I mean, I guess yeah. Let's start there. Ben, did you enjoy this film?
So keep in mind, my standards are exceptionally high.
Yeah, of course.
As a lover of Rush Hour,
but
yes.
I would give it a neutral plus, which is to say, like,
like a 3 out of 5.
it's the most generic rating of all time, but it honestly kind of fits. Where it was a good movie, I walked away not feeling I wasted my time, which
Oh,
is
that's
pretty
good.
nice.
That's pretty solid nowadays.
No, watching you watch the film because for the record, people, we are not usually in the same room when we're watching a movie.
Ah.
With the exception of usually these Ben C's movies.
Yeah, we're not normally in
Occasionally,
the same
yeah.
place.
Ben seemed like he was kind of into the film.
No, I enjoyed my time with it, but I think I got to the point where there'd be a scene or a set piece or whatever, and I'm just trying to figure like how is this going to fuck up this time? And I know the gag is like how does Indy escape this situation, that sort of stuff, but I focus less on that and more like where do we go from here? Because we went from desert to submarine real quick,
Right.
And then from submarine to
Isolated
this weird
island.
isolated staged island with steps and cameras and shit. Like the Nazis were filming the whole. Like this is the ending of the movie,
Yeah.
and I'm not describing this well enough, but no, like I thoroughly did.
It's very old school pulp.
I like sure. Wait, pulp as in Pulp Fiction.
Well, Pulp Fiction was based off the pulp comics that were like kind of like these, where they're like a lot of adventure novels, a lot of private eyes, a lot of like people whose entire thing was how can I be cool while doing these adventurous. sort of
Just add it to the list of shit I haven't seen yet.
No, I oh, wait, you've never seen Pulp Fiction?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll add it to the list.
Got it.
But no, but pulp was like a genre of comics back
Wait.
during like the 40s and 50s.
Important moment here for Ben C's potential future. Ben, have you seen any Quentin Tarantino films?
I don't even know who Quentin Tarantino
Okay.
is besides
that's mine. I'll
besides
do all the
like a
research
name
for
of
it. I am totally
people.
fine with that.
Let's go for audio.
Yeah,
that was a terrible high five.
Tarantino is one of my favorite directors of all time.
Do you want me to
Always-
high five you and you'll pretend it's from y'all?
Thank you. So
We had better. Just edit the previous one in from the last one and it'll be good.
there we go.
John, in the future, insert a good high five here. In fact, insert 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, here we go.
So Tarantino is one of my favorite directors, and Pulp Fiction is his love letter to the old pulp comics, which back during that time period were purposely they were sold to young men, so they were purposely overly violent, very sexual.
Yeah,
Lots of bazungas.
Tons of risque kind of content, which is what ended up creating the comics control board. Well, not comics control board, but the comics board in the first place, which were the guys that forced everyone to censor everything, which is what led to the Silver Age of Marvel and DC and what have you. But no, Golden Age. Anyway, what have you? But it's this giant love letter to all of those old Private Detective and these horror comics and stuff like that. So it's really over the top, and it's kind of what defines his movie sense of being very gory, very very vulgar, but they're very good movies. The man's a great filmmaker.
Got it.
So Pulp Fiction is him attempting to do all of those old styles that influenced him when he was younger.
Good to know.
It's a very good film.
I did not know any of
It's
that
also
stuff.
edited super non-linearly, so you got to watch it with a Sherpa to be able to understand what the hell's going on.
Great. I'm already a dipshit. I don't do well with non-linear stuff.
That's
but...
fair enough. But so that's kind of what Indiana Jones is trying to do too, of writing for the stuff that Spielberg remembered growing up with, where it's I remember these stories of adventurous people who'd go out and seek artifacts.
I do
in the
appreciate
lost
in the movie that
worlds.
they don't hyper heroize Indy. He is a university professor who is also he's a badass who obviously works out and looks good, but he doesn't have anything else on top of it that makes him very he doesn't have a bloodline, he doesn't have a this or that.
He's just he's very good at his job.
Yes.
He is the perfect example of a pulp hero.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Actually, yeah, he is.
Yeah, no, I mean he's based off of Flash Gordon and stuff.
Yeah. But also, he's also a womanizer. Marion makes reference to how he ruined her life. He's not a good dude.
We talked about this during the movie, how some of the dialogue feels very touchy-go-y in 2019. It was is this we broke up badly, or you forced yourself on me?
Let me break in. This is based off a thing I said while we were watching the movie, and it's because Marion mentions that she was a child. And Indiana is immediately I'm sorry about all that. It's okay, is she saying that as sort of a she was young, or is she saying that I literally was a child?
So my brain, unlike when we watched Empire, and it was very clear that, which by the way, I can never fucking watch Empire again thanks to this goddamn show because it ruined that relationship period for me.
But that Harrison Ford is way much older than Carrie Fisher.
No, the fact that he's really creepy towards her during most of that movie.
If it makes you feel any better, the two of them dated for a while after.
That doesn't make it okay. That doesn't make the character writing okay.
But
in this situation, it does genuinely sound like they had something for each other, but she was too young, or probably 18, 19, in that realm of yes, you can, but that's not a good idea.
So
and then it fell apart, and then here we are.
I go back to two sides on this because it's set in the 1930s, late 1930s.
Right.
And I was maybe that's just a nomenclature, not nomenclature, vernacular at the time that you would call yourself that. But I feel it would be rare to see an 18, 19-year-old nowadays call themselves any sort of children whatsoever.
Right, yeah.
But we're also much more adept about word choices and stuff like that. But they didn't really use a lot of other 30s, 40s lingo throughout the rest of the movie. So I'm not as convinced. Do I actually think it's child pedophilia? No, of course not. But do I love the choice of that? No.
I think it's more she was between 28 and 30 and was I was a child of I was just barely an adult and didn't know what I was doing, and that's why I got into this relationship with you, and then it fell apart, and that's your fucking fault.
In honest terms, I agree with you. I believe that was what they were going for, and they were just using colorful language. Because
to be fair, Marion
full
also
disclosure,
sounds,
I'm several beers in.
To be fair, Marion also sounds genuinely pissed throughout that entire discussion with Indy, which she has every right to be, but it is also very
sorry,
good.
When you said genuinely pissed, I thought you were referring to the fact that she probably had several drinks before this conversation.
Bit of both.
Well, we know she had several drinks.
We witnessed her consuming those.
She was pissed on both levels.
Specifically, we know she had one drink for sure because we saw her have it.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the implication to be one of 10.
No, yeah, I think there's 8 shot glasses behind her, so
vicious. But I don't know. Marion as a character was pretty well portrayed in this movie. I'm fine with it.
There's a fight that goes down. Random creepy ass Nazi guy, George Costanza, as I call him.
You say that all Nazis aren't inherently creepy.
Yes.
But that's another a special flavor of
Wait, aren't? Did you say aren't?
No, I said it's like you're implying that all Nazis aren't already creepy by saying
You're
creepy
said-
ass Nazi. You're being redundant, is what I mean.
I'm sorry. By
You
saying,
can just say Nazi, and my brain goes,
Yeah.
yes, slimy haired
no.
asshole.
This one is more creepy than the standard Nazi. He is like the hey, happy to meet you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very
there's a
stop
lot of, like,
that immediately.
There's like a lot of like
which-
Igor sort of like I don't know. What's,
Igor's what.
Well,
Igor, yeah.
there is a classic cinema actor whose name I can't recall.
I know who
right
you're
now.
talking about. This the one from the Maltese Falcon.
Yeah, Maltese
who's
Falcon,
entirely like-
Casablanca.
So he's from Noir and other pulp films from back during the 40s,
And
all of which starred Humphrey Bogart. And he's always portrayed as like this creepy, slimy, like he sounds like this, and he's always on the side of the villains. But he's always like a weird guy.
And the thing is, that is definitely who they were trying to pantomime.
Oh no, totally, and it works. He
yeah.
sounds like him, yeah.
And the thing is, like, he does it well. He is a creepy guy. He shows up and he gets the amulet that they're looking for burnt into his hand.
Yeah, the staff of Ra burned into his hand,
Yeah.
which I realized later on, which I talked to Ben about, which is a nice touch. Part of the movie's plot being, they only have half of the amulet. Well, it's because the half that was burned into his hand, they didn't get the other side of it.
Exactly.
Which talks about how tall the staff of Ra is actually supposed to be, which is really clever, and I hadn't thought about until
See,
now.
I lost it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm interrupting you. I would just like to state for the listener, if you have not seen Raiders of the Lost Ark at this
Welcome
point,
aboard. You can also start your own podcast on not seeing movies.
Yeah.
There you go.
honestly, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
I do genuinely want to do Ben goes to Mordor. Ben realizes one simply cannot go to Mordor. One simply realizes whatever.
We'll
I want to do
workshop
Ben
this.
watches Lord of the Rings.
We're gonna workshop this.
They're very good movies.
Ben
They're
the
also
Ring
very good
Bearer.
books.
That-
Ben would be Frodo. He is the nicest of us.
what was I gonna say?
I'm
I feel
definitely
hurt- I feel genuinely.
I'm
hurt, but
definitely
anyway.
the Gandalf.
None of these references settle with me, so I can't dunk on them with jokes.
No, you can't. It's
hard.
really. Also, to be fair, this is part of the reason why I wanted to educate you on film, simply so your jokes would increase and your frame of reference for video game making would be even better.
No. Go
So,
ahead, never mind.
Ben, genuinely, how did you feel about this film?
I was like a 3 out of 5 was the estimate.
Yeah, I thought like it's neutral plus. It's one of those like I enjoyed some of the action scenes being a little bit too long and slightly bit ridiculous. The plot is consistent if nothing else. Like
That's very true.
Like something happens, something fucks up. You redo the thing, something fucks up, and we continue again like going through this really nice pace. Honestly, there's not a scene where I felt bored with explicitly. There's definitely scenes that are better than others, but
It's very much a popcorn movie.
And
Yeah.
and well, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part of the movie?
that's a really good question. Definitely not the ending because Indy didn't do anything.
He just let the ghosts kill everybody.
Close your eyes, Marion. Don't open your eyes. Close your fucking eyes. I said, close your eyes right now.
And then that man's face literally stop motions off of his.
Yeah, no, that's it. I'd like to point out that in each of the 3 guys that we see getting affected by the Ark of the Covenant, each one is progressively worse.
Yeah,
Like the
this
first
one's
guy-
head shrunk, this guy's head melts,
Yeah.
and the other one's
Yeah.
head just explodes.
Yeah.
I think for me, I think not even the strongest scene. The scene that resonated the most with me is the Arabic mall marketplace
Oh,
where
yeah, I can see.
Marion's captured in a basket and he's trying to figure out which basket it is, and he just starts tipping over every basket.
Yeah.
Because it just
Like someone who's really bad at Where's Waldo.
it's really bad where's Wallow, but it's also
Or I'm
just,
sorry for our English listeners, Where's Wally?
is that a thing?
Yes.
Oh.
Something to throw at you.
I never knew that. No, and it's to me it just resonated as like this white guy who's just tipping over everyone else's shit. Even if he knew it wasn't that basket, he's like, fuck it anyway. Like, you don't deserve to have this all the
this
same.
fucking American jackass running through Cairo.
No, it added humor in an otherwise like purposefully humorless movie.
Actually, we were talking about that before. Not talking about. We watched a video on that when it came to Jackie Chan, where it's like that's part of the reason Jackie Chan's movies are so funny is that combination of action and comedy. And I
Yeah.
will say that is something Indiana Jones does very well at.
Oh, yeah.
Like a lot of the action scenes are still inherently funny in just how they're taking place. Like that guy he shoots after he does his sword demonstration, or like Indy tipping over a shitload
Oh,
of
yeah.
baskets, where it's like this is an inherently funny situation. but it also is dramatically increased by the fact that there is a plot and we have adrenaline and we need to rescue somebody, but also like fuck this basket, which is inherently very funny.
I'm all for movies that is like fuck X thing, like fuck this thing,
Yeah.
and then they go and proceed to fuck it. Like it's
Or
great.
or that moment where Indy in the very beginning where Indy's running down a couple of hills and there's an entire tribe of like native Peruvians chasing him.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just like get the plane up, and the pilot's like looking up at him, realizes how bad it is, but still really wants to catch that fish. Where
Right.
it's that moment of comedy entering into the action scene of being
and,
like
and like I said, we were watching
Yeah.
like dude with a bamboo pole is like, I finally fucking caught a fish with my bamboo ass pole.
yeah, and damn it, I'm hungry. And I assume Indy took the rations, and now he's coming over the hill with, shit, I should probably get in the air, but I'm still goddamn hungry. Like that.
I'm gonna start my TIE fighter ass plane.
Yeah, but that's
Because it starts up as like.
but that inherently is very funny, and I will agree that doesn't exist in, for example, I mean, Star Wars has that with like C-3PO and R2-D2 and what have you,
Oh, yeah.
but it's very rare that like the main characters get got in that situation.
Right.
Like that time that Han Solo rounds the corner and like shoots a stormtrooper and realizes the entire room is filled with stormtroopers. Very funny, but like that's not a consistency thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
No, again, like I think end of the day, like movie was fine plus. It was okay plus.
Good.
Go ahead.
What is the thing that really frustrated you during the movie?
Frustrated me. I
Yeah.
think
Besides the gender roles,
it's
it's also the '80s, so
no. It's for me. I think at the end of the day, and I shouldn't put too much stock in it because it's a movie and it is what it is. But the actual like transitioning from like how did we get to this point, or I think moreover like how like there's some points where like Indy just finds a horse, Indy just does like Indy just whitewashes a thing, and we're here now,
Yeah.
which is fine. I understand.
There are a lot of points
There's
in this
a
movie
lot of that.
where like and for something to keep the plot moving forward, suddenly Indy has that thing.
Yeah.
Well,
There's
they-
no
they-
reason for him to have a horse, but he finds one.
Well,
which is
they-
very much once again a pulp sort of thing. Where
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I imagine almost like a comic panel where you'd have like I'll find out something, and then like hard cut to the next panel, having like a
Yes.
little bit of narration, like Indy on a horse as he like tries to rein the thing in to chase off after
It's
the
the kind of
villains.
thing where, like in a modern film, like you would introduce the horses scene ahead.
Right.
So that way the horses are established.
Yeah, you would establish the horse usually, but in this situation, it's literally like Indiana Jones needs a way to catch up with this thing. Suddenly, he's on a horse.
No, this movie is actually really good about doing like very subtle foreshadowing about like
Yeah,
very
yeah.
subtle topics. I forget very
Like the Marion drinking thing where she can't
the
beat
Marion
Belloc.
drinking thing. There was a excuse me. 3 beers in, we'll do it. I forget. There's another big reference that was a nice callback later, but I can't remember what it is, which makes for a really illuminating commentary.
Yeah,
There are a couple of those.
But no, it's actually like it's well written in that sense.
Yeah.
It's poorly written in like the shot by shot, where it's one of those like, or I guess some of the action scenes where like you see Indy on the submarine being incredibly hurt, but like for context, like he was dragged by a motor vehicle, like it's
very true.
on a gravel road, or like he took punches by, like the German Swiss Superman, or like whatever the fuck it is. Like,
Pain doesn't seem to stick to him, man.
no, it doesn't.
except for that one scene where they make it part of the
Where that guy,
romantic
the
plot.
driver,
romantic
or
plot.
like the driver's punching his wounded shoulder, and he's like, "Ow, that really goddamn hurts! Stop it immediately!"
Or like the point where he almost got beaten by Zangief.
Yeah, right.
The German version of Zangief.
I mean, that's who that was
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
He just didn't have the mohawk.
Yeah.
No, but I
Nor
agree.
the scar that was given to him by Ryu.
But what was he? Goddamn Sagat now.
Did you guys watch the Street Fighter movie yet?
No, everybody, shut up. We're on
Wait,
topic now.
Okay.
We were on topic. We can talk about this later.
This is our podcast. We can do
I
what we
know,
want.
but I actually do
Da,
want.
da, da, da.
Before the
Da,
end-
da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Welcome to Street Fighter Podcast.
To
This
be-
is a podcast
to be-
within a podcast.
To be fair, I do want to actually record an episode about like what we're playing.
This
after
is what we're doing right now. This is Guile ruins everything,
so
and we're going to talk about Street Fighter for a second. Ben, what did you have to say about Zangief?
He's not a character that I play mainly. I don't do well with grappler type characters. I do very well with more like the agiles. Like, who the fuck is the wrestler character in Street Fighter 4 and 5?
the luchador chef guy.
Yeah, no, that's Luchador. She's a female. Fuck, what is her name?
Oh, Lisa.
Is it
No.
Lisa?
In Street Fighter 5 or Street Fighter 4?
Both.
Oh god, I know who you're talking about. Mika.
Mika, yeah. No, El Mika? El Mika. Some Mika.
Rainbow Mika.
Somebody-
Arm Mika.
Arm
Mika?
Mika.
Arm Mika.
Yeah. No,
And her finisher is calling in her tag team partner.
correct. And they
Yeah.
ass slam a dude, and it was
Yeah.
just like, I get why that's painful, and I'm into it. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
that's-
super on board with
That
it.
also sounds really painful for your head.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah, whatever.
So what's your
John, Street Fighter Man. We're
my
in the
Street
soup.
Fighter main is obviously Blanca.
We're in the soup now.
No, because you can instantly do the electric attack. I'm talking about Street Fighter 2 right now.
Yeah, the bull-
You could do the electric attack and just fuck over everyone else.
Yep.
So
It's a thing that my brother did against me all the time growing up, and I hated him for it, and now I do it because I am a monster.
yeah, my go-to. So
Much like Blanca.
So Street Fighter 2 is your go-to.
yeah.
Street Fighter 5 is your go-to.
I haven't actually played Street Fighter 5 yet. The last one I played was 3.
Okay.
Alright.
I was gonna say Street Fighter 3 is my go-to because I bought it off of the suggestion from Max Dude on YouTube. Because
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
this game looks amazing. And I played it. Was like, this game is amazing.
Yeah.
So Third Strike is my go-to. So it's either Akuma because turns out I'm really good with Akuma. Like I play Marvel Capcom 3 and just be like, nah, Akuma is my go-to.
Sure.
He's really good. Jumping Gohados is real great at like spatial control.
Uh-huh.
Or Urian because he is the tallest, nakedest man. It's fucking great.
I do-
when he rips off his entire suit to reveal just like a Greco-Roman thong.
Yeah, it's
and
so
to see
good.
your opponents go from okay to be like, I am not okay with this situation, and
Yep.
then you shoulder slam them in the face like a goddamn football lineman. It's
Yep.
like, all right, I got a free hit off of him just being more nude than you, so I'll call it good. It's like why people play super suggestive DOA costumes because their opponents are like, that's not anti-ring eye combo. Damn it.
Yeah.
All right. Which, by the way, is a strategy in DOA fighting games. I'm not even kidding.
I don't doubt
They will
it.
play the skimpier outfits because their opponents are usually male, so you do it to throw off their rhythm just enough to mess with them.
See, I'm
Usually I play Zack, so...
this.
No, but like, to be fair, as weird as that has become as part of the meta, it's kind of interesting to be like, huh, I never thought about you messing with someone's adrenaline gland by playing a half-naked character.
Did I? I know I posted this is off topic, but Smash Bros. Stream now.
We need
Deep. Let's go deeper.
We need a tangent machine. God, you haven't seen Inception 2, have you?
No,
You don't even get that
No,
reference.
no, I have seen Inception.
Oh, okay,
First of
well,
all,
fine,
I was
fine.
on a date in high school, and we are no longer together.
Did you understand it?
I don't think anyone understood it.
I understand
I'm
it.
glad you're no longer dating that lady you dated in high school because you're married.
I am married. This is true. Fucking on Twitter, I was posting. I was shit talking. So I was at GDC and
Were you shit talking people at GDC?
Mm.
Ben?
no, someone was shit talking me at GDC.
Why was someone shit talking you?
No, because someone asked.
Are we getting another layer in this?
Yeah.
No, we'll
We're
get,
4 in. Whatever.
we'll get there.
Oh my
It's
God.
so-
We are so deep right now.
So someone was playing Smash Bros. And they're like, hey, like, do you want to hop in for a 1v1? It's like, yeah, absolutely. So I pull out my main girl, I pull out Peach, and he pulls out Ness, which means he's gonna be a shit person to play against because that's who.
PK Fire!
Since Steven is one of our only listeners, I am going to say, Steven, he does not mean you.
I do mean you, Steven.
Steven, I also mean you.
I very explicitly mean you.
I'm gonna blow a kiss to you right now.
Anyway, so every time this guy would play, he'd pull off, I haven't played in like fucking 3 months. I still don't
Yeah.
have the roster unlocked for that
Yeah.
matter. It's been a minute, but no. So I was playing this guy, and he would do a combo, and then he'd sit there like, that was a really nice combo I just did. And it's like, oh, you're gonna compliment yourself through the fucking match.
Oh, you're this asshole. Huh?
And so he got an early stock on me. It was like 30 bust.
Sure.
And I'm starting to pull it back, and he just keeps shit talking, and he keeps doing up B and chasing me with a fucking recovery.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
'cause-
I got you. Yeah.
And I'm getting pissed off, and so I start throwing turnips, and he literally goes like, "That's cheating," and it's like, "Fuck off, that's cheating."
That's literally my move.
You have a homing projectile, like go rotten hell, you ass. And I had stronger words.
You know what's really funny about Smash Ultimate? Little Mac got buffed. So guess what? My boy the Boxer is fucking ending people.
Yeah, and
I beat both Bezerat and Steven yesterday in 1v1s because my boy has recovery now and hits way the hell harder. And I'm like, all right, I'm becoming Muhammad Ali. I'm gonna Rocky run through the streets and it's gonna be great.
What was it? So I ended up in my match. I ended up beating him. I think it ended at 60%, and I beat his ass because he's doing his recovery. I just fly off and
you just
finish it.
spike
Exactly.
him. Yeah,
and
sure.
just put a fucking end to this.
Just
And
nail in the coffin.
his ass like very impolitely throws the controller down and shoves off. It's like, All right, mate. Good game, fucker.
Bye.
Jeez, he was good. Let's get back to Indiana Jones.
Yeah, let's do this.
No, we
have to go layer by layer.
Let's do
Yeah, I was
this.
gonna say like,
We have to ascend.
we have to unwind.
Let's do this in a Super Wayne's World kind of way.
You don't get that either.
I haven't seen Wayne's World.
All right.
Yeah,
Things
I
we
know.
need to fix.
Yeah, no.
Can I do Ben watches Blues Brothers next? I really
Dude.
need an excuse to watch the Blues
Okay,
Brothers.
so can we just make this show Ben sees pretty much fucking everything because Ben has seen no movies or eaten any food?
Yeah,
No.
and Ben is also the best part of this podcast, so it's good
No.
to name
Look,
him-
as long
name
as
the
you
podcast
say it, then I
after
don't feel
him.
arrogant.
Yeah, no, it's
saying it.
fine. He's the best part of this podcast. I have heard as much from the few
No,
listeners
what this
we have.
does, what this opens up for us is the opportunity to like.
Oh,
have a
Ben, Ben
fil-
is like the straight man.
To be fair,
Have you
With,
met?
for the first time in his life.
I'm queer as fuck.
High five, Ben.
it was really good. The one time Ben has been straight. No, anyway, but like let's dig ourselves back up here. So no, Indiana Jones was so Raiders in general. I guess the second question would be: would you watch the sequels of this film? Because there are 3 of them.
Of your own
I'll tell you
volition.
that. Would
Because you were going to.
Well, no, but would you choose without this show to sit down and be like, yeah, I'd watch the sequel?
There's 2 answers to this. One is flatly no, because I don't watch movies.
But if you were in 1983 and you had seen Raiders of the Lost Ark and Temple of Doom came out, would you be like, yeah, I'll watch Temple of Doom? Or would you just find yourself something else to watch?
I would probably, I would take a nice person to the movies, and we'd sit down, we'd talk about it, and we'd watch the show, and then that'd probably be the end of it because I don't eat dinner.
So it's more a just like I would watch it, but it wouldn't be a like
Let's- everything-
I'm definitively going
allow
to see
me
it.
allow me to reframe this.
Sure.
Ben, after having watched this film,
Mm-hmm.
would you be open to watching the sequel to this film?
Okay, so I interpret that as like, did you hate this film enough to completely unwarrant watching the next one? And the answer is no.
But also,
I
if
wanted
you
that-
were not being forced to watch it, would you by choice see this film?
No, because I don't by choice watch anything.
No, okay, that's fair.
That's kind of also, that's why I haven't seen shit.
If you were in a situation where like you had watched this film and you're on a date with someone who wants to go see a movie, and this was the sequel to this movie was in theaters at the time, would you take that person to see the sequel to this movie?
I would probably say yes. I would definitely would, because also I'm on a date and there's ulterior motives there.
That's
Well,
I mean,
absolutely.
valid.
I mean, that's like the number 3 reason people go to see movies.
Well, that's the reason I'm on this podcast. It's not that I want to watch the movies. I want to hang with my friendos and have a beer and then inevitably get off subject and then talk about whatever.
To be fair, I think that's actually how the best podcasts start.
Yeah.
Like, most of it is a lot of just like casual conversations that people decide to involve themselves in.
Yeah, but then you have some type of like formality to like. There has to be a fucking like purpose.
No,
right?
but
So-
John and I have talked about this. If we were to ever do a scripted show, I would be the one writing the script. But we're not doing a scripted
No, but that's-
show.
that's-
because it's a
you
waste
and
of my
I
time.
co-write.
But like we could
because-
what I'm saying is like we could write an actual podcast with a plot,
Yeah.
but we don't want to because this is way more
No,
entertaining.
we enjoy that organic motion of this.
Well, this ties back into my original premise, which is like the reason that this formula, unquote, works out really well is that we have a thing we can always jump back to as like the subject matter, but then we just kind of go off on our own fucking shit. We went from Indiana Jones, GDC, what the fuck were we talking about earlier? WrestleMania was
actually,
in there.
I do have a question for you. So
Yeah.
now that you're beginning, because part of the whole point of this is a general cultural education of Ben.
Sure.
How does it feel to actually? Because you caught some of those in the middle of the movie, where it's like, oh wow, that's where that comes from. Where it's like those internal references that now you understand a little bit better. Like I hate snakes. Or the guy getting shot in the middle of a sword demonstration,
Yep.
or like why he hates Nazi. Well, like he hates Nazis thing, which you'll see it later on in the Last Crusade, but they really play into it. But like those
Spoilers.
but like or like the face melting when like the thing opens, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
those very obvious cultural touchstones that have been so important to like video game makers and filmmakers that like references happen to all the time. Not like references as this is the gag, like we're just doing an Indiana Jones thing, but like that kind of bleeds into other media. How is it now that you kind of understand some of those touchstones?
I mean, it's, a lot of those that I understood. Like, I understood the map traveling thing from Family Guy, I think was the
Sure,
one I pulled it from. Like, I understood the face melting thing from Reddit. Because
Right.
it's just a gif of a thing, right? And it's
Right.
like, I'm assuming that's from a movie where someone's face gets fucking
Yeah,
melted.
right.
Like, I can figure that part out.
But is it weird to now be like, oh, I have the place that definitively nails it down that like this is where they all come from?
Not really, honest. Like, because at the end of the day, like, those references out of context are what makes those things, right?
Sure,
like,
yeah.
Oof.
Like, for example, I was thinking of one when we were watching it. I forgot that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 2 makes direct reference to the like opening of the Ark of the Covenant when the Pillar Men come out, and they're like, because like Wham kills them through like a method that looks a lot like the lightning that murders them.
I will pause in saying that I haven't seen JoJo, but that is something I will watch on my own volition.
It's very good.
Oh,
Ryan got me.
That's also a thing that you and I have talked about before, where the final move in not final.
Oh, the final move in Last Starfighter was referenced in Overwatch.
What was it called?
So
Death Blossom?
Death Blossom.
Oh, you told me about this. Yeah, the Death Blossom and Reaper spins around.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Yeah,
but that's a direct reference to Last Starfighter, and John and I didn't realize that until we watched Last Starfighter.
Yeah,
and we're like, oh, holy crap! Like the guy who made
this edgy ass edger.
The edgiest of edgelords.
The edgiest of edgelords who edges. I guarantee you he edges.
He's on such a hard edge that
hey, edging has a different connotation.
Yeah,
now?
no, I know what it. I fucking know what. Ben, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but Andrew doesn't, and this is a perfect time to transform our podcast.
This is an edgy edgelord who edges.
This is now a sexual education podcast. Edging.
Oh no, I got it. Yeah, no, I know where this is going. We're fine.
He also happens to mimic a move from the end of the
Last Starfighter, but like it's a kind of thing where, and this is part of the reason why I feel like media literacy and just in general, this is part of the reason why I want to go into literature and like media as a whole if I ever end up going into teaching, is because understanding culture in general can be so much easier if you understand these obvious cultural touchstones of like, if you understand Star Wars, you're probably going to understand the society that built Star Wars a lot easier because that shit gets referenced all the time in modern culture.
Did you know that in Overwatch,
did you know
the hamster character is an inspiration from Hamtaro?
Yep. I did know that one.
Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball.
I actually totally understand that as a reference.
Good, because I bullshitted both of those.
I would not be shocked.
Also, can I mention, I just wish there was a band that was brave enough to make a song called Wrecking Ball.
Wait, what's the
the reckoning.
RECKON, Wrecking Ball?
Yeah,
that's a band name.
Anyway.
Reckoning. It's all right. No, now we gotta get descriptive because if Wrecking Ball is the name, it's a shitty Christian.
John's trying
Christian
to
metal
anyway.
Final thoughts on the movie, Ben?
It's fine.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
More in-depth thoughts on the movie, Andrew.
I enjoyed it. I will genuinely say that there are some moments that are a little bit weird in 2019. Not Empire bad, not I can't watch this movie anymore bad, but definitely a like
more like Jonathan Rhys Davies playing a person from the Middle East.
Which, to be fair, John Rhys Davies actually does pretty good. He manages with the accent. He doesn't seem, and he's.
Sorry, did I call him Jonathan? I'm sorry. That's me. That's me reinventing the past because my name is Jonathan.
John Rhys Davies doesn't care.
Yeah.
But like John Rhys Davies being a Middle Eastern person is a bit weird, but he does fine with it. He doesn't play it offensively. He just has the beard.
Mm-hmm.
But like Indiana's a great character. I think him being I think he's better in that aspect now. A couple of years past, where for example, Harrison Ford gets weird, uncomfortable roles all the time.
Yeah.
Like Blade Runner is weird.
Or the president.
Well, but Blade Runner, what is it? In Blade Runner and as playing Han Solo, like there are some moments of, oh, that's actually deeply uncomfortable. Blade Runner, there is the closest you can get to a rape scene without actual like sexual assault. Like
that is true, yeah.
And to be fair, that works with the character of being a disgruntled, bizarre, depressed private eye. Like it fits. His character is not the hero of Blade Runner. It is the best protagonist they found for the story that is Blade Runner. Like that makes sense.
Yeah.
But in this one, he plays an asshole of a person. He's not a great guy, but he's also not too apologetic about it. He makes for a good character, even if he is weird to look at a couple of years, or like 30 years later. I enjoy it. It's still a good movie. I think I enjoy Last Crusade more because they play into the cartoons a little bit more. Like, they play into the pulps a whole lot more. I think Raiders still too serious. And when we get to Last Crusade, like, that's the one where... because it has Sean Connery, any sense of people not being cartoon characters kind of goes out the window.
I don't want you to ruin anything.
Sean Connery's in the movie.
Oh,
God. Fuck! Andrew,
fucking asshole!
Anyway, John, what
to be fair, I wouldn't have been able to tell if Sean Connery's in that movie because I don't recognize actors for the shit.
See?
5.
4,
Four.
3. What are we doing?
2.
1.
I'm Ben.